Click, click, boom, dynamite. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Nick, nothing but Niners. Hey guys, man, we're here to talk live reaction, overreaction. San Francisco 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals today. Another shitty loss, but we'll get into that. But first off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right down there in the right-hand corner. Make sure you follow us on all social media avenues. You can find out all those on nothingbutniners.com. You can check us out on Twitter and Snapchat at nothingbut9ERS. You can follow our Facebook group and Instagram page at nothingbutniners, all spelled out. And you can visit nothingbutniners.com. But guys, I got Mike here today with us. Mike, we're gonna dig into this game, man. I really got to dig into this game because there's a lot of things that are frustrating me. And first off, what's going on with you, man?
Same old, man. What's up, faithfuls? My man Nick here. We're going to try to hold this thing down. It's time to overreact. And I'm excited to overreact about this game right here. I'm excited because I went and I watched the post-game presser with Coach Shanahan, and I was reading the comments. I was all in them. The 49er fans are back in their old ways. Bring back Harbaugh. Those messages are in there. Fire Shanahan. He's supposed to be an offensive genius. Fire Robert Saleh. This was a good one, man. This was a good day to test the I don't know what you want to call it, but to see where the pulse of the fan base was. And we saw it. It's all over the place. And you know what's funny is that I honestly believe there's a lot of blame to go around. I think that you can blame the offense. I think you can blame a little bit on the defense, but I mean, we'll see how it weighs out more. But we'll get to it. I don't want to start, anything. I'll follow your lead today. I'm just here to share my thoughts, man. I'm happy to be back on these YouTube things. I miss doing these.
Yeah, the comments, I talked about this last week, man. Niners fans crack me up, man. It's the coach's fault. It's, bring back Jim Harbaugh. Oh, it's the linebacker's fault. Bring back Navarro Bowman. Oh, shit, we don't have a running back. Let's go get Frank Gore. Damn, George Kittle's hurt. Let's go back and get Vernon Davis. Like, all the time, man. The comments in our Nothing But Niners group is already fire Shanahan. They've been that way for who knows how long. But
wait. Just to be clear, not our writers and stuff. He's talking about the Facebook page.
No, the faithfuls that comment on the page. It's just I get so many messages saying, "Look, I can't just be in here because it's just all negative talk." And I understand that we're upset and we're aggravated, and I'm going to be negative in probably most directions that I could today. But there's really not a whole lot to be positive about. I will have some positivity, but it's not going to be all positive. So. Just to say what's up, I'm watching the room. So Jesus My King, Shun Lu, Sock'em Jock, Harry Rosnick, Rob Amon, Scott, Jesus Lamont, Vinny B, Shoe 559. What's going on?
Is it possible to get anybody in? I'm not at the helms. I'm not at the computer, and you know how to do that better.
We can definitely get some people in if they want to give us if they want to let us know if they want to come in. I can send them a link. But
yeah, I'm ready to let these people sound off. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, definitely. We'll let guys. If you want to sound off, let me know. I will shoot you an email. Just gotta send me a message. I'll either hit you up on Twitter or email and send that link to you. So, look, Mike. Let's start from what's up, Jonathan Rosa. Mike, let's start from point A, man. What did you think was the biggest issue today?
Without a doubt, the biggest issue, the biggest concern, CJ Beathard. I know people are going to sit here and say that the team had a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter or something like. Listen, the game shouldn't have been that close in the fourth quarter. This guy he can't move the ball with rhythm. The entire first half was anemic. There was at one point a stat that they showed where the Niners, it was late in the second quarter, we had like 24 passing yards and like 36 yards worth of sacks or something like that. Like it was something crazy. Like maybe it was 11, it might have been 11 passing yards and 22 yards worth of sacks or 24 yards worth of sacks, something along those lines. It was something crazy like that, but the offense just couldn't get going. And I see people trying to blame it on the protection. You see him holding the ball too long. And then when he did get a chance to throw the ball to people, he was throwing high, he was throwing short, he was throwing behind people. It was a lot of wow moments for CJ Beathard. And if you guys have been following us here, I was one of the guys that said, look, with as bad as Jimmy Garoppolo was playing this year, Beathard can't be much worse. I don't think we're going to take that much of a step back. And through the first 3 games, statistically speaking, they were pretty similar. But man, oh man, have we seen a difference. I mean, it has been decline after decline after decline. I will say this. How many turnovers did Beathard have today, Nick? Huh? You want to spin it? You want to be positive? He had a turnover today?
The last snap.
No, we recovered that. He picked it up and threw it. He picked it up and threw it incomplete with no time on the clock.
Right,
but
that's right. So he had none.
Yeah.
But to me,
that's positive.
To me, a sack is just as bad as a fumble in some of those cases today. Not all.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you saying that taking sacks in certain situations is bad, but it's never as bad as a lost fumble. If you get a chance to fight on for one more play, it's not as bad as now a sack on third down. You know, it's really close to being as bad as a turnover, but it was bad. We had no kind of rhythm this game at all, and the defense, they weren't doing much on the defensive side of the ball. I saw a lot of zero coverage, or they were bringing the house on us and things like that. There were no quick outs for CJ, and if there were, he just wasn't executing. He wasn't throwing the passes that needed to be thrown. It was very, very frustrating to watch. Go ahead, bro. It's on you.
Mike, I mean, first off, Niner Joe's correct. He said 8-game losing streak to Arizona. 8 games losing streak to Arizona. This team is just as bad as us, if not worse. And we play them. We just played a hell of a game against Green Bay. Then we come out and got destroyed by the Rams. Then we come out and we play the same team again that have their 2 wins off of us, and we play. It seems like we're playing down to competition other than the Rams game, because every other game we've been in. Look, today we didn't play. Everybody's hating me. I've been calling for Nick Mullins for 2 weeks now, and everybody's just been blasting me or saying you're stupid. What does it hurt? Mike, what does it hurt to see what Nick Mullins has right now? Do you believe that CJ Beathard could be a backup? I'm not saying that he can't. But why not see what Nick Mullins has to see if he's better than CJ Beathard? You're getting 2 out of every 10 snaps in practice, so you're not getting a good look at him. Obviously, he made the practice squad and has been around on his team for 2 years now. So he's still made the cut for 2 years in a row. Obviously, Kyle sees something in him. But why are we so gung-ho on CJ Beathard? Why is Kyle Shanahan so loyal to CJ Beathard right now? If this was any other quarterback, and people were saying to me last week or in the room saying you can't just bench a quarterback, and then if that quarterback plays bad, you can't bring your other quarterback back. Why not? The Jacksonville Jaguars just did it with Blake Bortles. They sat him. He's been their starting franchise quarterback for who knows how long. You sit him until he gets his shit together and say, hey, look, you're not helping this team win. You need to get into situations and help this team win. There was plenty of times today where I was just like, I literally was waiting for him to throw an interception when the game mattered the most. Or I was literally waiting for him to take a sack when the game mattered the most. The one he got out of, yes, he made a great play. He rolled out, made a great play. But like you said, he had a clean-ass pocket. He overthrows Marquise. Overthrows him by 2 feet. Has a wide-open pocket. Misses George Kittle. These are all on third downs, like crucial downs in the game, and you have a clean pocket, and you're still overthrowing. I just can't with him anymore. I'm really calling him CJ Sackhead from now on. That's what I'm really calling him. You asked a very specific question, why not go to him? And there's 2 ways to look at it. Do you want the answer from the team's perspective? Do you want the fans' perspective? Or like, what version of it do you want me to give you? Because there's 2 completely different answers. Give me both. Give me your perspective and give me why you think the team's perspective is not moving on with CJ.
All right, well, let me start with the team. I think that the reason they're not doing it is because of every draft pick has a value. And they picked him in the 3rd round and they moved up. So his value was increased naturally. And so in order to bench him, it's going to look like they're saying that this guy wasn't our guy. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have Mullins, who was an undrafted free agent who stuck around the practice squad for 2 years. So it looks bad. It will shake his faith. Kyle Shanahan is emotionally not emotionally attached to this QB somehow. We talked about it on the podcast where, you mentioned how he said the hardest thing he had to do was tell CJ that after he was healthy, he still wasn't going to be the starter anymore. That shows an emotional attachment or investment in this guy, where if your goal is to get better every game, then it shouldn't matter where you drafted this kid. But I do think draft position has a lot to do with why he's still under center for the 49ers. And with that being said, Mullins could be significantly worse. But it really makes you question, what does Beathard have to do in order to get pulled? Like, how much worse does it have to get? He's not making throws. He's taking a ton of sacks. Okay, he didn't have any turnovers today, but for the most part, he's been turning the ball over a lot. Like, are we going to walk away from this and say, well, he improved today. There weren't any turnovers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that from the team perspective, Shanahan is going to come out. He's going to give a lot of excuses when they come out tomorrow and talk about this game. There's going to be a lot of excuses. Well, the receivers didn't get separation. I don't believe for a second that the receivers forgot how to get separation between the last 5 games this year and then this season. I don't believe that at all.
Well,
what?
They showed on TV the 3 sacks that Beathard had taken, the first 3 sacks. They showed on the TV he had 2 receivers running across the middle wide open, and instead he just took the sack. The next play, he had 2 receivers open on the right-hand side, and he sees the blitz coming from the left, and instead of trying to move away from it, he just ducked down and just took the sack instead of even trying to move out of the pocket. And then the third sack, he had 2 wide receivers open that they showed, and he literally just didn't go anywhere and just took the sack. These are the things that piss me off. It's either A, he's going through his progressions way too slow so that he's not seeing these receivers, or he's just not – he has no pocket presence. Like, I don't understand what it is. Like, none whatsoever. Does CJ have a good arm? Can he play quarterback? Probably. The problem is that he can't go through progressions fast enough. He doesn't know how to flush out of the pocket, and he plays horrible under stress. Well, distress, I should say. I don't know what he has going on in his life with stress, but you know what I mean?
Well, so and let me answer your other question. It was from a fan's perspective why the team won't do it. Is because who's bringing people in? Who are you coming to the games to see? I've been trying to sell these Raiders tickets back to people, and for the game on Thursday, and I'm going to have to literally try to give them away because no one wants these 2 tickets to this Raiders game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would go if it weren't for me and my job situation. I would definitely be out there. I can't. My room is paid for. I can't get a refund on that because I did it through a travel agency and shit like that. Like, there's just so much stuff. Is like, there's nothing. I can't even give away these tickets to this game. So if you bench CJ Beathard, you got Matt Breida injured. You got Jimmy Garoppolo gone. McKinnon gone, Garcon gone, you know what I mean? And then you get to the defensive side of the ball, Jaquiski Tart gone, Reuben Foster's now gone, Exum's gone, who was a backup to Tart. It's just it's a vicious cycle there. There's no one that's drawing people in anymore. And I think that's why the team is trying to hold on a little bit to a known name. That's it. I can't think of another reason. And people can say, well, Nick, you think CJ Beathard bad. Nick Mullen could be a lot worse. A lot worse is at least a change. And I would tune in to see a change more than more of the same. And every week we're just getting more of the same. But there's a lot. Go ahead, Nick.
No, there's a lot to go to it. But this is where I get so frustrated. I keep seeing people comment and saying, oh, well, we have to give CJ till at least week 10. We have to give CJ till at least week 12. We have to give CJ till this. And then some fans are saying, I'm sure we'll see Nick Mullins before the end of the season. Or, CJ is going to get hurt and we're going to have to see Nick Mullins. Or why not start Savage? Look, if anybody should take over right now, it's got to be Nick Mullins because he knows this offense from playing in it for 2 years. I don't know how well he knows it because he's been playing scout team. He's not really been playing getting a lot of snaps. But the reason I want to see it, and it pisses me off so much that it's not happening, is because I want to see Kyle Shanahan be a head coach and put a fire under this kid's ass and say, look, this is not the way that the NFL works. You have to play.
Yeah. And to back up what you were just saying about how, oh, well, they benched Blake Bortles. Well, people are going to say, well, they still lost in London today. That's fine. They did lose, right? But Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing crazy until he found out Jameis Winston was going to get that start. In his last game, he didn't care, right? And they benched Jameis Winston today. And what happened? Ryan Fitzpatrick came in there and marched those boys down the field. Players play different when they feel like their job is in jeopardy. There's someone on their ass. They just do. You think about how Alex Smith played knowing that Colin Kaepernick was waiting in the wings. We saw the best version of Alex Smith the 49ers had ever seen when he had Colin Kaepernick sitting on his heels. It's just a fact. It's a fact. It's just how it is. Some players need different ways of being motivated. And like you said, if nothing else, it could just be a motivational thing for CJ Beathard if we just go ahead and sit him for just do it for a game. Just do it for a game. You literally have nothing to lose. You're losing anyway. You have nothing to lose. And every week you go up to the podium, Kyle Shanahan, you talk about how embarrassing this loss is and how we have to play better. We have to play better. We have to get rid of the ball faster. You're saying the same exact things every single week, yet you're doing the same things every single week. But Nick, we sound like we're beating up on just the offense and just on Shanahan and Beathard. Is there anyone else to blame for today's loss? I see a lot of hate going on for Robert Saleh. I want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about Robert Saleh?
Look, I think Robert Saleh called a good game up until the fourth quarter. He did adapt. He did change some things. But you also got to look. As much as I hate Jimmy Ward, it killed us for him going down. It killed us, him going down. It killed us with Tart going down. With Tart going down. Killed us. Then the last drive, Akello slipped on a coverage and fell. If you would have seen the pictures of the field, before game time, it was pretty tore up. Not saying that that's something to blame, but it is something to look at. We stopped calling blitzes because they started killing us on the little screens. Know what?
All right, so that's the biggest thing that I've seen about Robert Saleh is that the pressure was working. Why'd you stop? And people say he didn't make any second half adjustments. He did both. He stopped because of second half adjustments, because in the second half is when you lost Tart. Okay, Exum was playing fine, but then Exum went down also. So now you got Powell in there, and then you lose Foster. Foster goes down. You blitz, and you are leaving Powell back there as your safety blanket. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a completely different thing, and now Foster's not in there. So you shuffle up your inside linebackers. There's a reason he stopped blitzing. He didn't stop blitzing because he wanted to. Even the commentators are like, well, the Cardinals have been bringing the house all day. Both of these teams have been going after it. Let's see what the 49ers do here. And we didn't bring an all-out blitz like that. We didn't do it. And so it's not because he didn't want to. Trust me. I honestly believe Robert Saleh wanted to keep blitzing, but you can't do it when you're running out of players in the backfield who if your blitz doesn't take, then people are going to be wide open all over the field. You just couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Players on the defense were dropping left and right, in and out, in and out, in and out. You just can't do it. We lost, 3 players today for the whole game, right? Foster, Tart, and Exum. And someone else went out but came back. Was it Kawan Williams? Someone else went out and came back in.
Defensively?
Yeah.
Foster, Exum, Tart. That's it.
Williams didn't go down for a play or two and then come back. I don't know. I thought someone else went down. Either way, though, that's 3 people in the secondary that are now out. You blitz, and they're completely vulnerable with a bunch of new people back there. That's why you had to stop doing it. So, I mean, I understand that they gave up a 12-point lead and all that, but come on, man. When the defense shows up, the offense is nowhere to be found. That bend but don't break mentality is good for 3 quarters of a football game, and that's what we got. We got 3 really good quarters of defense. The offense didn't help at all. They couldn't even get in field goal range. I mean, for the longest time, the score was 5-3. That's pathetic. And the 3 was off of a turnover that Tart almost ran back to the house. That's how we got the 3. We couldn't move the ball at all. And so I understand that people look, and I'm back and forth every week. You're going to hear me go back and forth because I'm going to tell you guys what I see on a week-to-week basis. When this whole thing first started, I was mad at Robert Saleh. And then, no, I was mad at the players. I was mad at the players in the beginning. I said Robert Saleh's calling good games, the players aren't executing. And I talked about tackling, and they worked on tackling, they improved it. Then I got mad at Robert Saleh because after a certain amount of time, the same mistakes over and over and over, coaching needs to do something about it. So remember, that's when you and I flip-flop back and forth. This game, I can't put on Robert Saleh. I can't.
Yeah, I can't put it on him either. If you go ahead and talk real quick, I'm just trying to find Jonathan Rosen wants to join us, so I'm trying to find his
email
so I can send him.
No, it's all good. There were some things that I really liked that I saw today though on both sides of the ball. I like the way that Breida and Mostert battle for each other. I like the way that Kyle Shanahan didn't give up on Morris. Morris wasn't looking good, and then boom, he broke that big run up the right side. Like I really like when I see things like that happening. I like to see that a coach doesn't give up, especially when a game isn't out of hand. Don't abandon the run game. Even though your offense wasn't moving the ball at all, if you want the play action and stuff to work, you have to set it up with the run game. The problem is that Beathard just wasn't pulling the trigger on the big plays. There was a play where they did the play action, he took his deep, he hitched, and then he just like stood there. And I'm like, why didn't he throw it? You got to let it go. And then he ended up like throwing it into the ground or something like that. It was so many plays like that where you could see they set it up. You just got to let it go. And I talked about this before the game started. We were talking about Odell Beckham Jr. He made that one-handed grab when there was a penalty on him. And I said, look, I was like, this is what we're talking about here. Everyone said the 49ers don't have wide receivers that can win one-on-one battles, contested catches. And my argument to that was we don't know it because we don't see it. If the guys aren't wide open, the 49er quarterbacks don't give them an opportunity to win contested catches. It just doesn't happen. The reason you see Odell Beckham making all these amazing catches and Antonio Brown making amazing catches over defenders' heads and one-handed grabs that they're holding them off with the other arm and things like that is because those quarterbacks give them a chance to win one-on-ones. We don't do that here. If these guys aren't college open, they're not getting the ball thrown their way. What's going on, Rose? I see you over there. You can jump in and you give us your thoughts, man. Let us know how you feeling about this game because this is wash, rinse, repeat, bro.
Gotcha. You guys got me for a couple minutes, man. I'm glad I had a second here. It was frustrating. I was sitting there watching most of the fourth quarter because again I'm at work, so I wasn't able to watch like completely like I wanted to. But that final drive, I was just as a fan. Initially, you're like you go into the game with open mind, like okay, hopefully we can win and we get it. We're injured. We don't got our our top people, full complement of players and stuff like that. So I want to enjoy the game, but then when the stuff that happens, like the not the turnovers this game, luckily, but the sacks and the usual stuff that make you want to pull your hair out. You want to shut the game off, and it's just more the like you said, more the same. The usual stuff. It's just frustrating as a fan, man, because I don't know if you guys remember the last time I was on a while.
Hey, Jonathan.
Can you hear me good?
No, you sound like you're way away from the microphone. I can't hear you at all.
Oh, my bad. I got it. It's let me see something. You guys sound low. How about now? We good?
You're still like it sounds like you're like muffled, like behind something, like you're talking behind something.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, that was better.
Hold on, let me take this case off.
Boom, right there. Now we can hear you now. Yeah, it might be your case or something, or maybe the way you were holding your phone.
Oh, my bad. We good?
It's a little bit better, not much right there.
All right, let me try to talk a little louder, hold it like this. What about now?
I mean, we could hear you. Go ahead. We'll be able to make out what he's saying now. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Nah, but I'm just saying in a nutshell, it's just kind of frustrating as a fan because a while ago, I don't know if you remember, I was a crazy one that said we will go 11-5. But nah, it's frustrating, man. Just seeing the usual stuff and not seeing what I wanted. But nah, overall, man, I'm gonna just watch these games with a grain of salt. Knowing that we can't expect much, guys. We can't expect much. I like my man Kendrick Bourne. I like a complement of players on the offensive side. it's just we're not 100%, so we can't expect much. But against the Cardinals, 0-2, you know what I mean? 8 straight. I don't know. CJ Beathard, I had high hopes. Green Bay, I said in the comments, Green Bay was their best game. Defensively, it's just they brought it, the tenacity, they're focused. They just looked 100% different. It was night and day. The Rams are they're just a monster of a team. But I don't know, guys, man. I'm just frustrated overall. All things considered.
What's your thoughts on CJ Beathard? Just real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, CJ Beathard, again, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad. Green Bay, that is. But yeah, he's just, I don't know. He doesn't release the ball quick. What is it? Is he scared? Did he tore his ACL in college or something like that? That he can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look like he should be there. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think he's wrong at all. He looks uncomfortable every time he drops back. Did you guys know the play before the very last snap, the one that went over his head? Did you know that he wasn't ready for the snap? Did you see when they showed the replay in slow motion? He's looking this way and the ball's like here, and he's like, oh. Like
the last play?
the second to last play. So the very last play, the very last play, the ball went up and over his head. The play before that was when they snapped the ball. He kind of bobbled it. That's when he avoided the sack. Then he got the ball out to Bourne, but like he wasn't even ready for that snap. It's like he didn't even know his own snap count. He looks very, very nervous out there.
But remember, we have that what is it? That backup dude? Oh, I forgot his name.
Magnuson was in under center. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't want to make excuses for anybody out there. What we're seeing is not good football. It's just not. I mean, today was a lot of just not executing. We weren't seeing a lot of the really bad mistakes that were costing us games before, like the fumbles and the botched snaps and all that. Well, we did see one, but we didn't have the turnovers on special teams and things like that today. But it was just so much like dead offense. We can't get a game where both sides of the ball show up on the same field. The defense, I thought, did a good job this game. I thought they did a good job, not last game, but the game before that. I think the defense is coming out and they're swinging. They're giving it their all, but the offense just isn't taking advantage of it. And until that starts to happen, this is what we're going to see. There's no way we're going to beat the Raiders next week. I'll go out and say it right now. I'm not picking the Niners to win another game this season. Who are we going to beat? You remember when the Niners only won 2 games a couple seasons ago with Chip Kelly, and both of the times it was the Rams that we beat?
Right.
That's about to happen right now, but with the Cardinals. The Cardinals' only 2 wins are going to come against the 49ers this year. That is nuts. That is nuts, man.
But let me say this. Remember last year, our losses were like, we could have won that game. We should have, oh man, we would have done this, we would have done that. A lot of those losses were close, and they were easy to swallow. I don't know if you guys, I mean, it wasn't too long ago. But like this year, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, there's not. You never like Nick was saying earlier. I never had this feeling like, oh, you know what? We got them right where we want them. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna win. I never had that feeling. It was more like, all right, I'm ready for the mistake to happen. I've already accepted what's about to happen here. A mistake is gonna come. We're gonna turn the ball over. He's gonna throw an interception. He's gonna have a strip sack. Like this entire game, every time he dropped back, I felt like I was holding my breath for something negative to happen. And then when it didn't happen, I was pleasantly surprised. You shouldn't watch football and that be your normal feeling. Your normal feeling should be anticipating them to move the ball. And then when something negative happens, like, oh, man, that shouldn't have happened. And instead, when something negative happens, it's like, yeah, I expected that. And then when something good happens, like, oh, I can't believe we did that. I can't believe we got that.
Right.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like I was saying earlier, Mike, I'm upset about this loss, and I probably shouldn't be because I kind of figured how the game was going to plan out. I mean, I said on our last show, actually on the podcast, I said, if we don't turn the ball over, we probably win this game 17-14. If we get a turnover, we were completely in position to win this football game. So, one, I don't know why I was so pissed off at the situation is because I see receivers open and this guy just can't get them the football. Like, it's like if he doesn't have a clean pocket and 5 seconds to throw the ball, he cannot survey the field. And I'm probably going to get hate for this, but Colin Kaepernick in his last 3 years was the same exact way. But he would take off. He would literally get out of the pocket and go. But quarterbacking wise, he could not survey a field. He could not read a defense. He could not do any of that. CJ Beathard looked so scared in there that I don't even know how to give him any more. I don't know how to give him any more excuses. Like, I've been 2 weeks now, I've been saying that I'm ready to see Nick Mullins only because of the fact that I want Kyle Shanahan to put some fire under CJ Beathard's ass and say, if you don't step up, somebody will. Not because I think Nick Mullins is better than CJ Beathard, and I don't really know if he is or not. He could come out and play way worse than CJ Beathard, but he could come out and play better. And I'm all for draft pick, but I'm not. Also, I don't want to lose. I don't want my team to lose for draft capital. I'd rather us win and just go through the season and get in the draft by trades or via however we want to do it.
I want to dig in to what you're saying a little bit more, Nick. Before I do, I don't want to like interrupt too much. But remind me to come back to the whole how you want CJ Beathard bench. Not even so much for the rest of the season, but you want to bench. Remind me to come back to that, okay?
Yeah. So, I want to see, is Beathard going to be our backup the following season? Is Beathard going to be here for next year or the year before? This also could have something on who, if we draft a quarterback this upcoming draft, is Nick Mullins better than CJ Beathard? Can Nick Mullins run this offense better than CJ? So there's a lot at stake. It's not just like, oh, CJ Beathard was a 3rd-round pick. He's going to be the backup quarterback behind Jimmy Garoppolo for years to come. No, it doesn't work that way in the NFL. But you've got to give other people opportunities. Right now, practice squad quarterback or not, Nick Mullins is the backup quarterback on this team right now. CJ Beathard is the starter. Jimmy Garoppolo's mute. There's nothing to even talk about. We know he's not playing. He's not the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers this year. CJ Beathard is a backup. He's a professional. He needs to step in, just like all players say. Oh, he's no Rudy Poo. He'll be fine. Yeah, the guy can take a hit. But he also has to prepare and play like a starter right now. I don't give a shit what year you were drafted, where you were drafted. If you're not, you could be drafted 1st overall. There's a ton of quarterbacks that were drafted 1st overall and got benched and played like shit. So, it's just, I want to see the fire under the coach's asses saying, look, if you're not going to play this way, maybe somebody else will. What does it hurt? Our record doesn't stand for anything else. So I think the leash needs to start being shorter and shorter each week on CJ Beathard, and CJ Beathard needs to be benched and just see what Nick Mullins is, because maybe Nick Mullins outperforms CJ Beathard and Kyle Shanahan likes him, and CJ Beathard's not even a backup next year. For us. He's somewhere else.
Rosa, what are your thoughts on that, Rosa?
Why? I don't have an issue. When he first put him in, I was okay, obviously, at first. Too low, right? Too low? My fault, guys. When he first got hurt, and I knew CJ Beathard was going to come in. Initially, I was like, okay, cool. He played a few games under under Kyle Shanahan, and I felt okay, even not 100% comfortable, but I felt all right. But no, I agree with Nick. Like, why not at this point? 1-7. You got the Raiders coming up. Like, give them a half at least. Like, I'm okay with the dude coming in. And with CJ, as far as the future, CJ being the backup, because as long as Jimmy G's healthy, then who cares? Well, you know what I mean. But he's okay I don't know what they're gonna do, if they're gonna trade him, draft, whatever. But as far as pulling him now, I'm for it, because at this point, like I said, I'm with you with Nick. Excuse me, sorry, I'm with Nick on that one.
Well, my thing is with Nick. Remember when I was saying that defensive players aren't executing, so we got to start benching them? And you were like, oh, so we're just going to bench the whole defense? And I was like, yeah. I was like, one at a time, you should start sitting people down if they're not doing what you want them to do. And believe it or not, they were doing that. Quiet as kept. That's what they were doing. They benched Akello. They didn't let him start those couple of games. Akella was back, and he's playing pretty good now. He's back out there. They were rotating Solomon Thomas out. Solomon Thomas was getting 12 snaps a game at one point, 14 snaps. Like, people were talking about, are you guys giving up on Solomon Thomas? And then Solomon Thomas bounces back and has some pretty good games after that. Those are things that are happening. So, Nick just vanished on me, but that's what I wanted to ask him is, why the 360 now? Or not 360, why the 180 now? Like, when I was saying it, you were all against, like, no, you can't just start benching players, Mike. They're professional. You can't just bench them. You can't just bench them. Well, now this is the most important position on a football team, and you're saying, well, bench them just to light a fire on them. What's the difference?
Exactly why I'm saying it. That's exactly why I'm saying it, because the quarterback is what makes the offense go. Defensively, you have 11 players that have to all play together. Not that you don't have to have 11 on the offense, but if your quarterback can't get the ball out of his hands to allow those other 10 players to go, you got to change it. Defensively, you can change one player here or one player there. It's not going to make that much of a difference because it's not what makes that whole unit go. But if you're center to your quarterback and your quarterback can't get rid of the football to give the 10 other players on the field a chance to make your offense run, there's a problem. There's a big difference for me offensively with a quarterback than there is defensively with a corner or a safety.
All right, so let's fast forward. Let's say the Raiders game comes, it's a short week, right? They say Richard Sherman's not going to play because they were talking about how he's not going to have enough time to recover to play both of these games. They said if he doesn't play today, then he was going to play Thursday. They said if he plays today, he's probably not going to play Thursday. This is what they were saying a couple of days ago in the pressers. So Richard Sherman is out, assumably, right? We don't know what Tart's injury is. Someone said Tart's arm was in a sling, so he might be out. We don't know if Exum's going to come back. I don't know if it was a concussion or what. We don't know if Foster's going to come back. So let's say we got all these backups in on the defense, and they decide to start Nick Mullins. My question is, what message is Shanahan sending to the rest of the team if he benches if he benches C.J. Beathard? What's the message? How does the rest of the locker room receive that?
That's so hard because I'm with you guys. Well, I was with Nick for those reasons, but then you got to look at the whole landscape. Like, he's not going to go out there and throw like 4 touchdowns, 308 yards. So I don't know. It's tough overall. You know what I mean? You could put him in there just to see what you get, which I'm all for. I'm pro that just to see, because, I don't know. It's at the same time, you don't have who you're throwing it to. And you don't this team, this year's a wash. If we keep getting hurt, we're losing these games the way we're losing it. It's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Nick, what do you think?
Yeah. I just want to, Internal Creator said, what makes you think Mullins would be better? I've never once claimed Nick Mullins is going to be a better quarterback than C.J. Beathard. Never once claimed that because none of us know. Not even Kyle Shanahan may know. The offensive quarterback coach may not know. You don't know. I don't know. Mike doesn't know. Nobody friggin' knows. And all I'm saying is our record right now, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to light a fire under C.J. Beathard's ass, whether it's just one game. One game. See what he does. Prepare him. Prep him. I just really feel like there's so much loyalty to C.J. Beathard from dating back to last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I really feel Kyle Shanahan does not want to hurt his feelings. And I'm fine with being loyal. I said this on the podcast. I'm fine with being loyal to your players. But when it comes and goes up against your team, you have to make the team decision. You have to. And I'm not saying that it's the right decision. I'm not saying do it because I'm saying to do it. I'm saying do it to light a fucking fire, excuse my language, to light a fire under C.J. Beathard's butt to get him moving or motivated because he is not playing good at all. I don't care what anybody says. Even if we won this game, I'd still be calling for Nick Mullins because C.J. Beathard is not playing good at all.
I think what people are missing is that people hear you want to bench somebody for someone else in particular, and they're assuming that you think that means that person's going to play better right away no matter what. And that's not what Nick is saying. He's using it as a motivational tool. Obviously, they've been talking to him. That's not working. Obviously, Shanahan is trying to change up the offensive game plan to something that he's comfortable with. I don't believe for anything that Shanahan is going out here saying, you know what, Beathard can't execute X, Y, and Z, but we're still going to keep running X, Y, and Z because that's our offense. I don't think that Shanahan's doing that. I think that he's trying to give Beathard the things that he's good at. So Nick wants to use this as a motivational tool, as a way to say, you know what, we've tried this, we've tried that, we've talked to you, we picked out plays that you like, none of it's working. You just got to sit down and watch. Maybe you need to step back. You know what I mean? I think that's what Nick is trying to say with that.
So let me just touch on this because I love Coach Tim. He's always in our mentions. He's always in here. Coach Tim, you say Shanahan knows what Mullins can or can't do, and he laughed at reporters' mention of playing Mullins. CJ is the guy. It's not about feelings. It's about ability. Mullins is not ready for prime time. Two things on that. Shanahan has came out and said himself, Nick Mullins only gets 2 out of every 10 snaps. So there's no way of evaluating him. 3 or 2. I said 2. I went from 1 to 3. 2. You're saying that it's about ability. Mullins is not ready for prime time. Well, guess what? Neither is CJ Beathard. So you can argue that fact with me as much as you want, that CJ Beathard is ready for prime time more than Nick Mullins. But both of them, or I can see that CJ Beathard is not ready for prime time. You can see how he's playing. Did you see his stats? His record as a starting quarterback in the NFL is 1. He's 1-9 now, or 1-10 now. He has 17 turnovers, 7 touchdowns. Like, what? That's not ready for prime time, bro. Like, you can argue with me all you want about CJ Beathard, but CJ Beathard isn't ready for prime time either. Give the kid some snaps.
Not only that, but if Shanahan really believes that Beathard is going to be his backup quarterback for the next 2 years, you might want to save him. Get him out of his own way. Like you said earlier, Nick, about his pocket presence, he's taking a ton of sacks. And even if he's getting the ball out or avoiding things, he's getting hit a lot. Well, then fine, let's preserve him for next year. If you believe that this is going to be your backup until his contract is out, then preserve him and put someone else back there. You know, the reason why everybody loves CJ Beathard is because he's one tough SOB. Like, okay, that's fine, but what does he bring to the team? How does he elevate the players around him?
You know what has all these fans sold on CJ Beathard so much? It's because of Kyle Shanahan saying he reminds me of Kirk Cousins. All these fans that wanted Kirk Cousins before the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff. Guys, I haven't seen any Kirk Cousins in this dude. Like none whatsoever. Not an ounce. Not a itty bitty schmidge of Kirk Cousins. Look, I'm not saying that stop putting words in my mouth because I'm getting frustrated now. I have not once said that CJ Beathard is worse than Nick Mullins because I don't know. I just want a fire lit under CJ Beathard's ass to start playing or move on. You can say, we can't play Russian roulette with our quarterbacks. Bullshit. Yes, you can. Because that's your job as the coach. Evaluate talent. If that person's not helping you win games, put somebody in that's going to. It's that simple. At all levels of football.
Part of coaching is finding ways to motivate your players. Not everybody responds to the same thing. You know what I mean? Just like with a good teacher has different methods of teaching something. You know what I mean? It's not just here's what we do and this is how you do it, and then you just keep saying that over and over and over and expect it to eventually click. You know, so that's what Nick is going with. We never said that Mullins is better than Beathard. That's not the case at all. Nick, you don't have to keep touching on it because you've said it every broadcast that we've done. And if people don't get it, they're choosing not to get it. They're like literally just ignoring it at that point. So I don't want you getting stressed out or anything like that. We're having a nice, calm conversation about a team that is absolutely failing right now. It's failing in every aspect. And I'm trying hard, really hard, not to look forward to the draft and stuff like that. But bro, I mean, I don't know what else is left for us right now. I don't know what else there is to look forward to. We just have to see some kind of changes coming. And I'm not talking about the I'm not talking about the coaching staff. I want this coaching staff to stay together. I really do. But we have to find a way to get some results somehow.
Fellas, let me jump in real quick. Just want to, I'm going to hit you guys up in the chat. I'm about to get up to my post, but appreciate, letting me get in and whatnot, but I'll hit you guys up.
I like when Rosa comes in here, man. He talks some good football, and always a pleasure to have him. Guys, if anybody, I'd like to get somebody else in here, but I'm about to be done with the CJ Beathard talk because it's just frustrating me and aggravating me. So, Mike, what was a positive today? And I'm going to give you mine, and it was Ronald Blair. We've been saying this for me and you have both been trying to get Blair on the field for a good 2 years and seeing what this kid has. And now that he's playing more and he's taking more snaps away, he's doing something with the ability, or he's doing something with the chances that he gets. He's not getting a ton of sacks. I'm not saying that, but he's getting pressures. When he's playing the outside, he's going straight upfield. He's keeping everything contained. He's making people bounce back inside. So he's doing his job. But Blair, to me, has been a standout on this team, along with Richard Sherman, even though Sherman hasn't played every game. But Sherman is still got it, man. Whatchamacallit had him dusted for that touchdown. And he literally caught back up to him, stuck his hand in, and made the play with his hands and broke the ball away.
He was playing his hands. I know exactly what play you're talking about. And I'm telling you right now that if that was Akello Witherspoon, they would have thrown a flag on him. The referees are officiating with bias because we saw Akello Witherspoon do that same exact thing, play the defender's hand, but they say, oh, well, he never got his head around. And when he crossed his arms, that's a flag. No, that's not a flag. There's two ways to play corner, and that's one of the ways where if you're beat and you're out of position and you're trailing, then all of a sudden you can only play the hands. You can't turn your head around because if you run into him, it's definitely a flag. So you slow down, you maintain your composure, and you wait for you till you see his hands going up, and then you put yours in between to break it up. And that's exactly what Richard Sherman did. It was a great play. It was a great play, but the referees don't officiate evenly. Just like PFF don't score evenly. I'm not going to get into that. But I do want to talk about my player of the game, like you said. And since you said Ronald Blair, I won't say Ronald Blair, but I do want to say that when this season started, I broke down Ronald Blair's numbers per snap. Do you remember me doing this on Twitter? I put out a long tweet about their pressure percentage, their sack percentages, tackles for loss percentage, and I compared them to Solomon Thomas of last season, and I compared them. There was 3 players I compared them to. Oh, Elvis Dumerville. That was the third guy I did it with. That's who it was in that thread. And his numbers, as far as percentage goes, were better. And I was like, we got to give this guy more opportunities. He's getting them, and like you said, he's making the most of his opportunities. And that's what you want to see from the young players out there. And that's all you can ask for. If you give him more opportunities and he's not good, then he's just not good. That's all. You keep him moving, and then you find out, all right, he's someone we can let walk. I can tell you that if the team had to decide today, I don't think they're letting him walk. You know what I mean? Everyone's talking about, oh, who can you trade? Who can you trade? Ronald Blair looks very promising, and he plays multiple positions on that defensive line. I really, really like Ronald Blair. But I've been on his tail since we got him from Appalachian State. I have been on him since we picked him up.
Bro, I said he reminded me of a young fucking Bryant Young, if you recall that. And I love this dude
for saying that because Bryant Young's my favorite 49er of all time.
Mine too. But I love a young Bryant Young with just his tenacity, the way he plays. Like, you can see that he's just going to go all out no matter where he's at. He plays multiple different positions, and I think he's a really bright spot going forward for this team. One of the guys also said in the chat was McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey has been a really good bright spot for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard. It's anyone who disagrees with that. I don't know what you're watching. He's not going to be perfect on every play, but more times than not, he's very physical and he loves blocking. I like watching that man work. I love that pick with Mike McGlinchey. I'm going to give my player of the game to someone who didn't do a whole lot, but I liked his motor because I was getting tired of seeing him in instead of DJ Jones, and that's Earl Mitchell. Earl Mitchell had some plays today where I was like, why is he even pursuing this? There's no way he's going to make this tackle. And then right at the sideline, boom, there he is. I was like, oh my God. I just like seeing players giving it their all, man. If I see a player doing that, I respect that, especially if you don't give up on a play and you're the one that's there to make a play at the end of it when it's all said and done. So he's not going to give you any great stats or anything like that. He didn't have any sacks, or I don't know if he had any tackles for loss because he was back there in the run game. He was holding up pretty well, but I really like what I saw from Earl Mitchell today as well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely he's definitely playing lights out. I mean, I just love the tenacity that he shows and the way that he plays. And like you said, even like Earl Mitchell is just like For as big as he is, you would never think that he has that motor. It's
Yeah.
like a Lincoln Town Car with a vet motor on it. Like that's what it is. Like that's how big he is. But then he has like a vet motor on the back to where he maneuvers. He
Yeah.
really does.
I
mean,
even
there was plays like you said where you see on the sideline, you're like, why the hell is Earl Mitchell making that tackle? And it's like, was he in coverage? And because I have to go back and think, like, oh my God, was he in coverage on that? But then you see him pursuing, and it's all all hands on deck to the ball.
couple of other players really quick I do want to give some shout outs to. He didn't have a great game, but I like Kendrick Bourne. I wish he wasn't slipping so much. He slipped a lot today, and I think that he could have had a much bigger game if he didn't slip a lot. Kittle is always going to be feisty out there. I love watching Kittle play, man. Kittle is a pleasure. He is a delight to watch. I really like him. Offensively, I think that Magnuson, other than that last snap, Magnuson was doing okay today also, coming in and playing at center. Person, the offensive line is not as bad. I mean, we got worked last week, and I still haven't seen the second half of last game. And I know they said that was much worse, but that the offensive line has been a pleasant surprise for the 49ers this year. They really, really have. So shout out to all of those guys. Shout out to Kendrick Bourne, Akello Witherspoon, way to bounce back. I liked what I saw from Akello today. Did he get beat bad on any plays today? There wasn't a lot of stuff going on downfield.
No.
Fitzgerald is Fitzgerald. He got off on Richard Sherman today. He got off on Kwan Williams today. He got one on one of the safeties too. I can't remember if it was Tart or if it was Exum, maybe even Powell.
That's one of the things.
Powell. It was Powell in the end zone.
Yeah, and not to cut you off, man, but Kwan Williams, like, this shit's still pissing me off, man. Like, that 2-point conversion, if he would have hit him shoulder and wrapped, he could have drove him back. They wouldn't have had the 2-point conversion. But instead, he lowered his head and tried to hit with the shoulder, and Fitz just walked into the end zone.
Fitz is a big dude. I mean, if you try to take his lower body, he's going to extend his upper torso over you and reach that ball across the goal. It was I think it was a well-designed play, but other than getting in front of him and tipping the ball, there wasn't going to be much that he could do there. Kwan Williams isn't a big guy. So
that was not like – yeah, no, and that was another thing that killed us today was tip passes.
Yeah, Beathard's been throwing 3 or 4 tip passes a game. He's been doing it. And the one of them, the defender didn't even have to put his arm up. If he just stood up straight, it would have hit his helmet. It was such a low pass. It was in the first half. I'm just sitting here watching like, come on, bro. Like, you just keep throwing tip passes. You got to get better. You know what I mean? So it's little things like that. We don't need to drag this thing out. I like the game plan from Robert Saleh. I like that the defense never showed any signs of quit. The defense, I think, fought really hard. That last drive and 2-minute drills, the 49ers have always been susceptible to that, especially with Saleh in the mix. He's always been susceptible to the 2-minute drills. When they are doing hurry up, and then you saw there was the one play down in, I don't think they were quite in red zone yet. They were right around the 10-yard line. They had an illegal substitution, and Shanahan was flipping out on the sideline. Like, that's not right. You guys got to throw the flag. And, like, they let them run the play. You know what I mean? It's like little things like that. Shanahan was heated, and rightfully so. But I like the defensive game plan. I like that we, despite all the injuries and through all the turmoil, those guys battled, man. The defense really, really battled. And you let up 18 points in a game against one of the worst defenses in the league. You should win that game. You know what I mean? And the defense did their thing. They got a safety today, which was almost a touchdown. They just ruled it an incomplete pass or something like that.
Should have been a touchdown.
Right. Like the defense tried. We had 1 or 2 turnovers today, right? We finally got some turnovers. Like, it was the defense tried today. I like the game plan. I understand what people were saying about the pressure, but why did we stop? And again, I already said that we stopped with the pressure because of what was going on with the defense. Too many people coming out. You can't keep blitzing like that and leaving a lot of inexperienced people back in the secondary to be your final safety net. So that's really all I got. I don't know if there's any more comments or anything and you want to touch on it.
No, I mean, that's Coach Tim says sophomore slumps. John Thomas said the defense looked good, question marks, against the worst O in the league. I think they look better than what they did last week. I think it's his back or something maybe. I don't know. He hasn't been a factor all year. Akello did okay. He gave up a critical first down today, bailing out when he should have tighter coverage. Yes, that on the very last drive, he was playing way off. It was like 3rd and 10. I know exactly what play he's talking about because I said in the room, I was like, why is he playing so off? Like, why is he giving him so much space? but that's, it could be what the play call is. So
Right.
can't really give that to him. Jonathan Rosa, are we trading Garcon? Who knows?
Possible. We heard about the rumors. Shanahan addressed it again today. He said that other teams have called about other players, but since the one rumor that's out there is about Garcon, he would say that yes, that people have been calling about him, and he just said we'll see. I personally think that was a rumor generated by the 49ers front office to drum up interest in him, but I mean we'll see what it is. I also noticed there was a comment by one of the commentators that the Jimmy Ward's communication in the secondary was a lot better than what we had been seeing than with Tart back. I mean, not Tart, with Colbert back there, free safety. I don't know if you heard that. It was in between plays. I don't know if it was coming in from a commercial break or going to a commercial break, but the commentators were like, Kyle Shanahan has been praising Jimmy Ward with his communication back in the secondary at the safety position. It's a good change from what they were getting before. When did Shanahan have time to tell that to the commentators? It seems like it was fed this comment to motivate Colbert for next year and things like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
trying to motivate these guys with communications and all, because those comments are going to get back to the players. They don't hear them during the game, but you can best believe that people are going to say, oh, your coach was taking shots at you. They got family members that watch these games, so they're going to hear it.
Mike, before we go, I got one question for you. Where's your boys Dante Pettis? I know Dante Pettis is hurt, so let's just skip over Dante Pettis. But where's Richie James' return game at, bro? It's like, it just seems like, I don't know. Where is it at?
So I wanted, you know me, I was all about Richie James over Trent Taylor. Now Trent Taylor's hurt, so he can't do it, right? But it seems like it's the same results. It seems like when they get the ball in their hands, they run it forward for 7 or 8 yards, and that's about it. Maybe it's the blocking. Maybe the special teams blocking isn't what we thought it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was really excited about getting Richie James back there and being able to turn. But right now, I like DJ Reed back there the most.
Reed had some drops though, right? That's why he's not doing it now.
He had a couple. Yeah, he dropped the one on the I think it was last week or the week before against Green Bay, and then Richie James has been back there since.
And then, but this goes back to what your point is about motivating guys by taking their position away from them. You fumble.
But I've asked that. Like,
look at Raheem. We can look around the team in different positions and see when it's happened on both sides of the ball. Raheem Mostert had that one fumble. He was running well that game. He had that fumble. We almost didn't see him for the rest of that game. Then he came back and he answered damn well. And he's averaging like 7+ yards a carry now. You know what I mean? Like they do it with other players. It might be time to do it with the quarterback, man. I don't want to keep beating the drum, but I'm there.
And that was the question that I had. Why can we do it with other players on the team, but we can't do it with our quarterback? That's why I feel there's too much loyalty from Kyle Shanahan to CJ Beathard.
Because the quarterback is most important position on the football team, and if you start messing with that, then you da-da-da-da-da. I'm telling you what they're going to say. Those are going to be the words. Doesn't mean that I buy it. Doesn't mean I'm sold, because I know bad when I see it. What we're getting right now is bad play. That's just the bottom line.
This is where I'm at. We know who our starting quarterback is in 2019, right?
Absolutely.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Do we know who the backup is?
Yeah, we know it's going to be CJ Beathard because Kyle Shanahan ain't letting him go nowhere.
Right, but I'm saying, what does it hurt? Your record is already the way it is. Why not just see? Because maybe neither of the guys that are on the roster, maybe Tom Savage, CJ Beathard, or Nick Mullins aren't the answer. Maybe we have to draft the guy next year.
I'm with you, but I got to run. My daughter is going crazy, the baby. She's not feeling well, so I got to get out of here.
Yeah, well, I'm ready out of here too, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our social media avenues. You can find Mike on Twitter. Where's Mike? Just say your Twitter handle real quick.
49ers Mike _NF. By the way, for anybody watching, if you're interested in going to this Raiders game, anybody out there interested at all, shoot me a DM. My DMs are open. 49ers Mike _NF. I got 2 tickets for you guys. Let me know if anybody wants to go. It will be a transfer through Ticketmaster. This isn't some BS thing like, oh, I can send it through StubHub. No, this is directly from Ticketmaster. I will do a transfer to your email. You will get it immediately. So guys, hit me up if you're interested in going. 49ers Mike _NF.
I'll be sending that DM in a second. No, I'm just messing around.
You know me, I'm with it, bro.
I know. All right, guys. Look, man, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there. Thanks for joining in with us again tonight. I know their team's not that much to talk about right now, but myself, Mike, and the rest of the Nothing But Niners crew enjoy talking football. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, any of that, our team is still our team. What's up?
Nick and I are gonna do another show. Nick doesn't know it yet, so Nick and I are gonna do another show this week, and we're gonna have the phone line set up. I get a lot of feedback from the fans saying, "Look, I want to participate in your guys' show, but I don't want to be on video." We're gonna set the phone line up. We've got the phone number. What is it? Do you remember the phone number off the top of your head? 628-888-4
3443.
Yeah, 3443. We have the phone number. We'll do a show this week. If Nick can come by Monday or Tuesday, we'll set it all up together. And we'll have the phone line ready, and you guys can call in and sound off. It'll be, I guess, an extended version of the overreaction show. Some changes that you guys want to see happening before we take on the Raiders, who also lost today. It's going to be 1 in 7 teams going at it on primetime TV on Thursday. So I would love to break that down and talk with you guys about that.
Yeah, they might put on like The Price is Right or something though.
Bro,
you never know.
The Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special is what's going to be on the pumpkin patch one.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, forget this game. We're just going to put this on instead.
It's so funny. So funny. Well, guys, like I said, man, it's always been real. As always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you're on Twitter and Snapchat, Nothing But 9 ERS, as well as our Facebook, Instagram pages, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. You can check out nothingbutniners.com and see all of our social media avenues there, as well as all the slew of writers that we have over there that continually put up article after article after article. Such great reads. But look, guys, man, just stay with us. Stick with us. I know our team is not doing very well right now, but no matter what, we still love them. So we're all faithful here. Keep the love spreaded. And Mike has one more thing.
Yeah, it's just something that's going to bother me throughout the rest of the week. 49er fans are upset, and people are going to start saying, oh, you're not a real fan, you're not a real fan. Because you don't like what you see on the field does not mean you're not a real fan. Bad is bad. You have to be able to acknowledge when your team is bad. We are a bad team at the moment, guys. There's no shame in that at all. You don't have to come on and say, oh, I'm faithful forever or da-da-da-da-da. We get it. Just because you're not happy with what you're seeing doesn't mean you're not faithful, guys. Just because you want to see changes doesn't mean you're not faithful. We all want to see the team do better. I, for one, have said this, and I will maintain this. I think the 49ers are a better team than what the record shows because we are close in all of the games except for very, very few. Not even a handful. A handful is 4 or 5 games. We've only been out of 2 games for real. And so this team is ready to take the next step. I just want to see us remain competitive in games. I would like to see us getting some kind of offensive rhythm, but just because you want to see changes doesn't mean you're not faithful. Don't let anybody tell you guys that. Don't go around beating up on fans because you're seeing them say negative things about the team. The team is as negative as we can get. We got 1 win that we almost didn't get against the Lions. The team is bad. It's okay for the team to be bad and still talk about the changes that you want to see. That's my final thing. I'm done, guys. That's it.
All right, guys, you heard him, man. Faithful means faithful. Whether our team's losing or winning, we can be upset. We can talk trash. We can do all that other stuff, but it doesn't mean that I won't be there next Sunday or next Thursday or next Monday night watching that team prevail or lose. So you guys can find me at 49er Faithful 365 on Twitter. If you want to, hit me up. Give a good follow. I'm on there here and there. I tweet once in a while, but hit me up, guys, and I'm going to log off as I always do. Above all else, stay faithful. We out.